Hey everyone, Steve Arajo here, and if you don't know who I am or what I did in the past, I worked for G&L Guitars for probably 9 years or so, 8.5, 9 years. And obviously, anybody watching this, or the majority of people watching this, will know that G&L is no longer, and we still have a lot of unanswered questions. So I'm going to try to give my side of the story and just maybe dispel some myths and kind of let you know what I know. So I resigned from G&L Guitars on August 1st. Reason being was that I felt like I could not do anything else to help that company because of the things that were going on there. Obviously, G&L is dissolved or gone as of right now, so I don't think it's a big mystery that financial issues were the problem, have been the problem. So I just felt like I had to step down and kind of work for myself and go on to doing things that I could accomplish. So I resigned August 1st. I have some notes here too. Um, Fast forward to Monday, September 15th, the employees were furloughed. So they were furloughed, and to their understanding and everyone's understanding is they were going to be furloughed for 2 weeks and they were going to come back to work on Monday, September 29th. So it was a 2-week furlough. So that was factory workers. So that's all the factory workers. Production ceased as of that September 15th date, that Monday, September 15th. I will say also that all of these, the majority of those factory workers, we're all friends and still friends, and we still talk, and they're incredible people. Love each and every one of them, loved working with them, and we did make a great, incredible team to, we did our best to fulfill orders to independent dealers, international dealers, customers, artists, and again, we did our best. But so Monday, September 15th, all factory workers were furloughed. Now, during that 2-week time, there were still a few people there. Ownership was there at the factory and finance. So handful of people were still working towards whatever wherever we're at now, right? On Thursday, September 25th, a week and a half into the furlough, the employees that were owed money actually got paid because there was a lot of back pay. And this is public knowledge, this is out there. So there were a lot of employees that were not paid and hadn't been paid for a few weeks. They finally, hi Coco, say hi. But at the time of the furlough, there were some employees that pressed to receive their payment, and they actually did get paid. So there were some employees that were paid before that. So anyways, that Thursday, September 24th, the employees were paid. On the next day, Friday, September 26th, there was a call to all of the factory workers that they needed to come in to have a meeting on Monday, September 29th. And September 29th was the day that everybody was supposed to come back to work. Factory was supposed to open. So on that Monday, September 29th, they were called in to individual meetings. Some had group meetings, and they were told that they were being let go. They were told that they were killing the company, killing G&L. So they received severance, and they had to sign some paperwork, which I'm not going to get into that. You can go online, you can find out some stuff. So doors shut September 29th, Monday, September 29th, everybody's let go, no more factory workers, no more G&L. So if we backtrack a little bit to that first week of the furlough, the 15, 16, 17, 18, unfortunately, G&L cut off all communication to everybody. Employees, factory workers couldn't get through, weren't getting through, dealers, from independent dealers to the big box stores, customers. So nobody was answering phones, no one was returning emails. I had worked there for such a long time and made great friends, and still to this day are really good friends with a lot of these dealers, a lot of these independent dealers, a lot of international. I will say that, um, well, before that, sorry, uh, I was I started getting contacted on the 15, 16, 17, that first week of the furlough. I started getting contacted by dealers wondering what the hell was going on, and all I could do was apologize. Because I really didn't know what was going on other than what all the factory workers, my friends, were kind of telling me. So everything was up in the air. There was no contact, no communication. I was receiving emails daily. I was receiving phone calls daily. So eventually, fast forward to the 29th, when they quote unquote killed the company, there was still no contact or communication from G&L to any of these dealers, customers, international dealers. During that time, also, there were a couple of other employees that were being contacted also. So the only communication that these people had were these ex-employees now. Actually, on October 24th, I received an email from one of the big box stores wondering why they haven't heard from G&L, and I kind of told them what I knew, that the company's dead. So it's pretty sad, and it bums me out that, you take one of these smaller independent dealers that had orders. They had actually customers that had orders for instruments. They had deposits on them. The customer paid the independent dealer money, and then they're ghosted. And these independent dealers basically either have to turn that money into hopefully another sale, or they have to refund the money. And, for a smaller dealer, if they have 3 or 4 instruments, and let's just say they have $1,000 deposits on each, that's a refund of $3,000, $4,000, and that hurts, So really, really sad the way that it was handled. Um, I was talking to dealers all the time. I mean, up until about a week ago, the phone calls and the emails kind of started dying down. So there might have been some contact here and there, but the majority of people were still reaching out to myself and a couple of other people from G&L. So yeah, it bums me out. It's very sad. When I resigned, I definitely saw some writing on the wall, but I was hopeful that it could still progress and go on. And, I had talked to the higher ups at G&L, possibly coming in and doing some demos for like the beloved JBMFD that, I feel very proud and honored that I was able to work on some projects. The 750, the 19 mil bridge, the Series 750, I really pushed hard for that bridge. So I'm very thankful for the time. I learned a lot. I made so many great friends from the dealers, the people that work there, um, factory workers, they know who they are. So the other thing I will say is that the repairs that were in, we all know that this company called MIRC in Nashville actually has the repairs. Any RAs or RMAs, which are return authorizations from dealers, they would send to G&L, we would fix them, and then we'd send them back to the dealers, and they were usually customer instruments. So right now, I know that there are some people that still haven't been contacted by MIRC, and that there's instruments, customer instruments, dealer instruments that are in limbo. A personal friend of mine has a bass that he still hasn't heard from MIRC. I've emailed and I've called them to try to figure out what's going on, but I haven't heard an answer. I haven't heard anything back. That's kind of shitty. Excuse my French, but that is kind of, not good. So we can all speculate who bought it, if somebody bought it, the likeness, the signature is showing up in places that it wasn't before. So we can all assume, as of today, November 2nd, there has been no public statement. Everything is very tight-lipped. There still hasn't been a statement from any company saying they did purchase. The company G&L, that is now gone or dissolved or whatever, still hasn't made any statements. So we don't know. There's a lot of speculation. There's also been a lot of dumpster diving going on. So I know that people have been going into the dumpsters and getting things out of these dumpsters. And, the company was there for 45 years. So, and even before that, but let's just say 1980 to 2025, it was our 40, I keep saying our, you guys still feel connected to the company. So it was the 45th anniversary. During that time, a lot of crap gets accumulated. So a lot of the things in there, the necks were probably warranty repaired necks from instruments that came in, and those necks came off, and they might have bad truss rods or something. So if you have a bunch of necks, check them, make sure they work, but definitely a keepsake, hang them on the wall or whatever as a memory of G&L. But as of now, the factory is pretty much gutted. All machinery, everything is out of most of the units. So yeah, no more G&L. G&Ls will ever be produced out of that Fender Avenue factory. So anyways, sorry if this was long-winded, but I just felt like I needed to kind of say something, put a little statement out there. And we still don't know what's going as of today. I mean, right now there might have been a statement. Who knows? By the time you watch this video, we'll probably know something, or we might know something. So I just want to say that I'm very grateful and thankful for the opportunities that I had working for G&L, and honored that I was able to, honor Leo Fender as much as I could up until, I felt like I couldn't. So to everyone, the supporters, everybody's been great. The employees, the factory workers that are still my dear friends that I care for very much. So I hope this helps. Again, sorry for it being long-winded. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this wasn't too boring, but I felt like I did have to kind of say something and make a statement. So, all right, guys, thanks again. We'll see you. Bye.